if we're making space for the big questions, how to live in the kingdom of God, which is set in the kingdom of man, which means there, as St. Augustine said, there's a few people who are in the kingdom of God who are part of his people, but we're set in the middle of a world that does not act that way. Yeah. It's a long way from the city of God. It's the city of man. And what's the city of man building? Building the city, building states, building governments, building power, building institutions, some of which are useful and some of which Christians should be heavily involved in, making better laws, making better science, making better medicine, making better sociology, making better churches, making better pastors and teachers. That means that we can't wrap ourselves up and put walls around ourselves inside the city of man and say the city of God is separate. Yeah. The city of God is exclusive.
And I think that's what we saw in the early church, why it was so effective, is because they didn't withdraw from society. They were doing things that were completely countercultural, but they eventually flipped that culture on its head because they didn't know what to do when they're pulling babies out of the trash that were thrown away. They're pooling their resources, and the rich are helping the poor. It's not about looking out for number one, it's about looking out for the good of everybody.
Well, that's where we have to go back to myth, right? The founding myth, the energizing myth are about our identity. Yeah. Who are we? Yeah. Why do we do what we do? How do we judge a sincere character from an insincere character? How do we stay true to the values we believe in when the world turns against us? And I mean everything from climate change to war, to dysfunctions in family, to governments, or rebels against government, because it goes both ways, who will deny something in order to choose something else or defend something else. One of the great definitions of a heretic is someone who denies an essential truth. And so we need to know sometimes when you say you don't believe in this, do you know what it leads to? Do you know what we'll see coming next? Yeah. And we've certainly been through a season of that in the last 2 years with COVID, because many people have run into a barrier or a wall of belief or disbelief. And one of the responses is anger, another is rejection, some for even perhaps violence. Certainly when these challenges hit our identity and what we practice, which we think is core to our identity, right in the gut, well, then what do? How do we sort that out? Can we, in fact, let our worldview grow from a safe little worldview that we can hide in like a shell?